Hurricane Irma expected to make landfall Sunday morning in Florida Keys. Hurricane Irma has been upgraded again to a Category 4 as the devastating storm knocks out power and causes damage across the state of Florida. Hurricane Irma has been upgraded to a Category 4 as the storm center edges closer to Florida Keys. The former Category 5 storm was downgraded to a Category 3 on Saturday but has intensified as it continues on its trajectory. The catastrophic storm has already bent palm trees and spit rain across the state's south, knocking out power to more than 170,000 homes and businesses. Florida Power & Light said on its website that more than half of those outages were in the Miami-Dade area, where about 600,000 people have been ordered to evacuate. The company has said it expects millions of people to lose power, with some areas experiences prolonged outages. The company said it has assembled the largest pre-storm workforce in U.S. history, with more than 16,000 people ready to respond. Across Florida, millions have been ordered to evacuate their homes, leaving residents dreading what they might return to. The first hurricane-force wind gusts have been recorded in the Florida Keys and at least one tornado has been whipped up by Irma's force. Florida Governor Rick Scott earlier announced the storm is here as the outer bands of Hurricane Irma start to lash the state's southern tip and warned our state has never seen anything like it. Governor Scott said time is fast running out for 6.3 million Americans ordered to flee Hurricane Irma and warned them to take shelter immediately or you will not survive. He says the massive storm is likely to cause widespread damage and that people should stay away until they are told by local officials that they can return. Florida resident Ashley Winnie, who lives in the northern city of Jacksonville, told News.com she feared she may not have a home to go back to. The storm hit Florida starting on Sunday, so folks really need to leave now. Other northern counties in Florida are issuing evacuations today. Leaving sucks. Trying to pack everything you need, important documents, any personal items, etc., in a short amount of time isn't fun, she said. No one wants to leave their home. I dread going back to Florida and taking in the damage. I hope I have a home to go back to. Ms. Winnie said she wanted to stay in her home to ride out the storm and say I lived through Irma. Then I actually looked at my house and realized a tree could fall on my bedroom while I slept and I would be helpless, she said. The National Weather Service in Miami said a tornado had touched the ground in Fort Lauderdale, warning residents of South Florida. The weather phenomenon is a sometimes forgotten threat caused by hurricanes, which can spin up funnel clouds to cause destructive tornadoes. Winds up to 119 km per hour have been recorded, while the center of Irma has sustained winds of 193 km per hour as it heads towards Florida Keys. Tornado warnings have been issued for Fort Lauderdale, Coral Spring, Pompano Beach in Sunrise and Broward County, as well as parts of nearby Palm Beach. If you have been ordered to evacuate, leave now, not tonight, not in an hour, now, Governor Scott told residents. This is a deadly storm and our state has never seen anything like it. He said about 50,000 Floridians have taken shelter so far and there are more than 76,000 people currently without power and it's going to get worse. The warning came as Irma shifted its deadly course toward Florida's west coast. President Donald Trump held a cabinet meeting to discuss Hurricane Irma at Camp David Presidential Retreat on Saturday afternoon. Trump posted a brief video from the meeting to his Twitter, sending his prayers to the people who have already been affected by the hurricane and speaking about the emergency measures that have been put in place. All of America grieves for those who have already lost their lives. We have had many lives lost already from Hurricane Irma and it hasn't even hit shore, he said as he addressed the cabinet. He urged residents in the impending storm's path to get out of its way. This is a storm of enormous destructive power and I ask everyone in the storm path to heed all instructions, he said. Property is replaceable but lives are not and safety has to come first. Early forecasts had Hurricane Irma striking Florida's southeast capital of Miami hardest, but overnight the storm moved slightly west and is now forecast to strike Florida's west coast, with Tampa and Fort Myers bearing the brunt before Irma powers inland. Tampa's Mayor Bob Buckhorn said overnight, "It is not looking good for us." Florida Governor Scott imposed a curfew of between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. in Miami to stop opportunistic looters taking advantage of abandoned homes and shops. Forecasters warn Irma's damage could be catastrophic in parts of Florida. The Category 4 hurricane was located 70 miles south-southeast of Key West. It was moving northwest at 6 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 130 miles per hour. We're expecting landfall near the lower Keys, Local 10 News meteorologist Julie Jerd said. Forecasters at the National Hurricane Center in Miami said Irma will remain a powerful major hurricane as the center of the storm moves over the Florida Keys and into southwest Florida. Under the current forecast track, Irma is expected to pack catastrophic winds and life-threatening storm surge in the Keys and Florida's Gulf Coast. The worst storm surge is expected along the west coast of Florida once the center of Irma passes north. Florida will be severely impacted by Irma with flooding rain, storm surge flooding and damaging winds. In some parts of the state, along and east of the hurricane's path, damage could be catastrophic. A hurricane warning, a tornado watch and a flood watch is in effect for all of South Florida and the Keys. Although widespread wind damage isn't anticipated in South Florida, residents in the area can expect strong coastal inundation, flooding and tornadoes. Overall, the state of Florida is going to get hit hard with a monster of a storm, Jerdis said. 50,000 people have joined a Facebook campaign to shoot down Hurricane Irma. Thousands of Americans have been warned not to shoot at Hurricane Irma after a campaign to shoot down the monster storm went viral. Tens of thousands of gun-toting Americans have joined a Facebook campaign to shoot down Hurricane Irma when it hits Florida. They've vowed to tackle the 185 mph, 297 kilometers per hour, hurricane by showing deadly Irma that in Florida we shoot first, The Sun reports. Ryan Edwards, 22, came up with the novel idea of shooting at the storm as a way of amusing himself during the chaos. He started a Facebook event, and as of today more than 50,000 people say they are interested. Irma, the most powerful Atlantic Ocean hurricane in recorded history, has already wrought destruction in the Caribbean, killing at least 25 people. Some people appear to have taken the plan seriously, including one Facebook user who posted an image of himself holding a gun, along with the message, "I'm not going to sit around and wait, I'm going straight into the eye." Others responded to it with skepticism, with one user writing, "Isn't this just going to make the weather matter?" The response has even prompted the Pasco Sheriff's Office to warn residents not to take up arms against a hurricane. To clarify, do not shoot weapons at #Irma. You won't make it turn around and it will have very dangerous side effects, the office tweeted. The post comes as another Florida resident made an event encouraging people to shoot flames at the storm. "It's time we took a stand against this big bully. This our home, nobody drives us out of our own territory," states the event description. "Join me in this fight as we shoot flames at Hurricane Irma and dissipate her on the spot. She will burn." This article was originally published by The Sun and appears here with permission.